This video is part of a longer video called Making Money Online from Your Photos and Stories, which looks at a number of possibilities for making money online from your photos and stories. 500 Pics, or more properly 500 Pixels, was the first photo sharing site I opened an account with. That was in 2016, I think, and my account remained active until about 2 years ago. 500 Pics, that's what I'm going to call it, has an interesting feature which evaluates recently uploaded photos, taking views, likes, and comments into account, and this results in a so-called pulse rate. The higher the pulse, up to a maximum of 100, the more likely a photo is to reach the site's popular page, which in turn gives it a higher chance of being seen by other users and so on. It also features quests, which are basically photo contests. Apart from that, and what will probably be of more interest to photographers hoping to make some regular money online from their photos, it features a marketplace where photos can be made available for purchase. But what about the company itself? 500 Pics was founded in 2009 by a couple of Russian entrepreneurs, and although it's now based in Toronto, Canada, it's actually a subsidiary of Visual China Group, who acquired it in February 2018. About 5 months later, 500 Pics suffered a massive security breach, which it didn't report until February 2019. Close to 15 million accounts had user data, including emails, personal information, and hashed passwords leaked. Interestingly, I also often found myself to be following photographers whose work I'd never seen before. Fortunately, however, if my account was hacked, they didn't clear out my earnings. Well, what about the Visual China Group itself then, the company that owns 500 Pics? Since 2006, Visual China has been the exclusive distributor for Getty Images in China. And I'll talk more about Getty Images later. In early 2019, after the Event Horizon Telescope project captured an image of the Messier 87 supermassive black hole, the first such image in history, it was discovered that Visual China had falsely claimed ownership of the image and listed it for sale on its website, without crediting its source. Not long after that, it was also discovered that Visual China was claiming ownership of and selling other images, including corporate logos and imagery of the Chinese flag and national emblem, which they obviously didn't own. But probably of much more concern to potential account holders is that every company based in China, including even foreign companies, has been required by law since 1993 to allow for the establishment of a Chinese Communist Party unit within it to, quote, carry out the activities of the party, unquote, and provide necessary conditions for these units to function. Although many small companies have been allowed to get away without complying, penetration of large private companies is now just about total, with nearly every one of the top 1,000 private enterprises in China hosting party cells within them. China already has the world's largest surveillance network. It deploys over half of all surveillance cameras in use around the world. But it's also eagerly sweeping up all the information it can get abroad. And for that reason, photographers might not feel comfortable with the EXIF information of every shot they upload, possibly ending up copied to somewhere else. I'll talk more about EXIF info later. As to my own experience selling photos on 500px, for most of the time my account was active, my sales looked something like this. But then, one day, months after I had ceased uploading, I had great cause for celebration. 2 of my photos had sold, and for a cent each. That's right, 1 US cent each. Not a cent for the 2 of them. Yes! I could hardly believe my eyes. I celebrated almost immediately with nearly half a mouthful of beer. I also began making some calculations. How many more photos would I need to sell to make a living this way? Taking the legal minimum wage in Taiwan of around $5.50 US, I realized I would only have to sell about 550 pics an hour to reach that income level. However, salaries in Taiwan are rather low, so I don't know if that would work for you if you live in a first world country. A better yardstick may be the effective minimum wage. That is, the wage that the average minimum wage worker earns in the United States. That was already $11.80 by May 2019 and is now no doubt higher. So you'd need to sell at least 1,180 pics an hour to reach that income level. But the great thing about this kind of work is that you can make money while you sleep. So in practice, you could probably have a pretty lousy income selling an average of anything more than, say, about 400 photos an hour, every hour, 24 hours a day.